Okay, awesome. So you guys know the insane importance of smiling and being happy and having positive energy. Now I want to kind of apply that into something about career selection, which is like super important. Because everyone's always thinking, what do you want to do for a living, or what do you want to do with your life? And so often, everyone comes down to, oh, you should do what you like to do for fun, or you should do what makes most money, or all this crap. And this is a lot of like conflicting viewpoints, and I want to kind of clarify using some really powerful philosophy in this book, and also talking about really how I figured out, how I learned that like stocks were like my thing, because it's just so powerful, and all comes out of this one key concept that Carnegie talks about right here, which is super cool and really powerful. So let's go over to the computer and let's make it happen, which is the best. There's the chairman of a board of directors of one of the largest rubber companies in the United States, and he tells Carnegie that according to his observations, people rarely succeed at anything unless they have fun doing it. And this is so true, so key. Like literally, maybe like job pays less, or maybe a position isn't as lucrative at the beginning, but if you have fun doing it, you're gonna do it better. You're gonna do it like more effectively, and kind of more importantly, more passionately and more happily. And so as you do things with more passion, with more vigor, with more happiness, you might start out a little bit lower than a traditional, maybe something else. But if you're doing another position and you just aren't passionate about it, over time you're gonna decay in productivity, and thereby decay in the amount of money that you generate. Whereas if you start out maybe a little bit lower, but you're super passionate about it, and you're all in on it, at the end, you're gonna have way much larger, greater amounts of value created, because you put in so much more energy and excitement and enthusiasm that creates much more value. It's not all, mechanics. A vast majority of it comes from the actual underlying psychology of you as you're working in a position, you're doing whatever you love to do, and focusing on this growth and this development, which is just so huge. It's awesome, right? And it all comes from this one ability to just step back and say, hey, let's look at this. Let's make it happen, and let's succeed with it, which is just so powerful. It's huge. And so as he makes this observation, he says that the industry leader, he doesn't put much faith on the old adage that hard work alone is the key to unlock the door to desires. Because he knows people who've succeeded because they have rip-roaring good time conducting their business. And later, he saw those people change as the fun became work. You can't let the fun become work. The work needs to be fun. And the business, it grew dull over time. They lost all the joy that they had in their work, in their companies, in their business. And because of that, they failed. And so you have to have a good time doing anything. So like if you're meeting people, if you expect people to have a good time meeting you, you need to have a good time meeting them, right? Same thing, if you ask thousands and thousands of people to smile at someone every hour of the day for a week, and then come and talk to others, like what it'll do is it'll force them to have fun. And there's this one key concept that's so huge, and then we'll look at what Carnegie writes about this, but it's so important. And it's this idea of finding something that over a period of time, like maybe at the beginning you're not super passionate about it, or maybe at the beginning it's like, dude, this is kind of weird, and for me, like, that was investing, like I was like, I don't know, man, but then you just start trying, you start doing, right, and you just start going, and then you start to get into a groove, you start to get into a pattern. And what's really interesting is there's this one point along this pattern where you get to this one part on this path, you get to this one epiphany where you realize that, like, you know what, dude, this is pretty cool. At the beginning I didn't know about it, but now that I've gotten into this pattern, into this groove, I feel like this is something I could do every single day for the rest of my life, be ridiculously happy doing it. And for me, like, that was stocks, right? I have been trading for like a year until I got to this epiphany when I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane. This is so cool. I want to do this forever. And I've been doing it for years since, and we'll do it for decades in the future, right? All because you have to try things. And when you try things, you want to sort of try things that, like, actually are worth the most in the marketplace. Because when you try things that are worth the most in the marketplace, like, you're gonna learn to love something, right? You wanna learn to love something that's very valuable. And so for me, like, that was investing and trading stocks, which is like insanely cool. And so, like, as you get in through this process, what's awesome is you'll start to grow and achieve. Why? You achieve because you're doing something that you're passionate about, something you care about. Kind of more importantly, moving towards that next level, that next step, so you can take you to that big fulfillment and big achievement that you want in your life, which is just huge, so powerful. And as you go through this process, please focus on getting to this point where you can be doing things so that you get to this epiphany where you realize, wow, you know, originally I didn't know a lot about this, but now I really, really want to do this. I'm really excited to do it. And I'm super passionate about it because that little shift, that mindset change, like it's so huge, and it changes absolutely everything. It all comes from just trying things and making it happen. And so as you sort of develop this concept, you understand the importance of being ridiculously happy and fulfilled and excited with what you're doing. I want to give you this one tip that I think can really help you, especially if you're working for somebody else or you're starting a new career, but maybe you don't necessarily have control over what you're doing. Maybe you have a boss and you're in this doing stage right here, and you're trying to really, you know, have fulfillment and have fun, you know, being in front of people and doing things for others. And this, I know, is something that, you know, I struggled with when I was working at Subway. I just really don't like working for other people. But I know some people, like, that's their path, that's their career. And so often I would have, like, you know, you kind of get like those annoying clients or whatever once in a while. And it's just no fault of yours. It's just natural tendency of, you know, whatever work that you do. You're gonna get a couple of people that aren't necessarily, you know, the most collaborative, nicest, however you want to phrase it, right? And oh my god, there was so many funny stories of people that were in Subway that were just, oh my god, it's hilarious. There was this one guy, and I want you guys to understand, like, the background going into this, so that as you start to apply this concept, you can really crush it and understand the insane power of it, because it's just so huge. And so it was the second day of working at Subway, and it's like my second day ever. I was learning how to make these sandwiches and all that stuff. And this big line of people at the door, and so this one guy comes in and he gets this tons of people, and he gets a sandwich. He puts, you know, you make the sandwich, and it gets to the end, and he's like putting on his veggies and all this stuff, and you know, I'm standing there and I'm like, okay, what do you want? Blah 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 blah. And then he's like, oh, okay, give me some pickles or whatever. And so I put pickles on the sandwich. And then one of the pickles, like, falls on the floor, and so I'm like, or it was a cucumber. It was a cucumber. Cucumber falls on the floor, and I'm like, oh no, I gotta get this cucumber and, you know, clean it up, right? And so, yeah, I bend down, I got my gloves on, and like I grab the cucumber from the middle and kind of like pinch it, so I'm not like touching the ground. But it was, you know, I just didn't know a whole lot about like health codes, and kind of more importantly, I just didn't understand the importance of like constant changing up. I don't know if you guys know this, but like, you know, this kind of bumped me into shape and taught me a lot about it. But like when you're at Subway, like I would wash my hands probably like hundreds of times in a shift, and so like I would constantly just wash my hands over and over, and it seriously messed up my hands. Like, it was a serious issue. Soap was just degrading my hands. I was washing my hands so much. And I'm so grateful now that I don't have to do that, and I have like really nice hands, because it really sucked. But at the time, right, like I didn't understand the importance of cleanliness and of always having clean hands, clean gloves, you know, whatever, right? So I pick this thing up and, you know, I throw it away, and then I go and I put on like, or that was the last thing on the sandwich. I just close up his sandwich, and I wrap it up and put it in a bag. And it was crazy, like this guy, you know, he obviously a little upset. Let me see in just a sec. But he doesn't really like say anything. You know, he just sits there. He's just quiet. Doesn't do anything. Which is kind of like, oh my god. And anyway, so you get to checkout, and he's like, I don't want to pay for this sandwich because you, you know, put your dirty gloves on. And I'm like, dude, what do you mean? And he's like, oh, you touched the ground and then you closed up the sandwich. And I'm like, I didn't really touch the ground. But like, he doesn't know that, right? And it looks bad. And so I'm like, crap, dude, what do you want me to do, man? And so he's like, make a new sandwich. And so, you know, I'm like, okay, dude. And I'm kind of toning it down, but this guy was kind of yelling at me a little bit. It's kind of, you know, not the best situation. So I go and he sits down, and I make him, you know, the exact same sandwich. I get to the veggies, and he's like sitting down like 10 feet away, and I'm like, I didn't really like know what he wanted. So he was just kind of sitting there, and like I said earlier, he was kind of yelling at me, and it wasn't really great experience to talk with him, so I didn't really want to like invoke him anymore. And so I get his sandwich that I made originally, and I open it up just to like remember, you know, there's a lot of things on the sandwich, right? And so I'm just trying to remember all the veggies that he wanted, and if he wanted like pickles or stuff like that. So I open up the sandwich, the old one, I just kind of look inside of it a little bit, and then I put on the toppings and wrap it up and, you know, put it in the bag and go check out. So like, I don't want that one either, because you made it after you touched my contaminated sandwich. And I'm like, dude, like, are you serious, man? And then basically he just like walks out, and I'm really playing down. I mean, this guy was like yelling at me, and there was, like I said, there was a ton of people here, and so all these people saw this guy like screaming at me, and it was just like berserk, right? And then my coworkers come up and they're like, dude, it's his second day, and I'm like, dude, like, come on, man. And it was just a bad situation. So he walks out with a bag of chips, you know, buys his chips, leaves 2 sandwiches, wastes the food, you know, whatever, right? And obviously, you know, this made me realize, okay, well, I guess I gotta be better with health. But like the way he approached it, right, was so negative and so destructive. And it really, like, I'm still talking about this story, and this was like probably 5 years ago. And so it was just like this really, like harmful little thing that happened really early on. And I'm like, dude, like that was really mean. And it put this negative spin. Everyone here was like, wow, dude, that guy was really mean. And so I started to get into this downward spiral of negativity where I would get constantly like more pressured by other people, because I was so like afraid and worried that like other people were gonna be mean to me just like this guy. And it got to the point where I would associate, you know, this negative emotion of like yelling and being mean and stressing to people that came in, right? And so I would start to get like super sad when other people, you know, when I would have like tons of people would come in, and I'd be like the only person there, and I would have to give like 20 people sandwiches, and I'd have no time to do like any of the prep or the work or whatever needed to happen. It would really stress me out. And so I started to go into this bad state where I was focusing on negativity instead of positivity. And what I realized is like there's this one key concept about smiling and about happiness, and I read into this insane book. You guys have got to get this book. It's called Tools of Titans, and it's insane. I read this and it just changed everything for me, and it's this one key concept that aligns exactly with this. It's just so good. I mean, Tools of Titans, there's so many like just gold in there. It's insane. So huge, and it's taking like probably 2 minutes, 1 minute. Take 1 minute out of an hour when you're at work, if you're negative and if you're having a bad time, and just take that minute to sit there and think about 2 or 3 people in your life that you know, and just imagine in your mind those people smiling, those people laughing, those people being happy. And what's interesting is like this one key concept like literally changes everything. It's so powerful. And I just started doing this every single hour on the hour, and what it does is like you literally like cannot think negative thoughts as you're thinking about people that are happy and people that are smiling. And so it forces you to become positive, and it forces you to become happy, and it forces you to like just smile and have total and complete joy in your life for like the next hour. So all I would do is like close my eyes, and I would think of these 2 people or 3 people and just imagine them smiling. Think of them being happy. And what was crazy is as I started to do this, I became happier because I was surrounding myself mentally with other people who are happier. And it totally changes your complete and total perception of the world around you, because you're looking at it through a positive, filtered lens of happiness. And that positivity is so powerful and so impactful in every single aspect of what you do that it will fundamentally shift how everyone looks at you, and most importantly, how you look at yourself. It's so huge. Because this one smile, it can literally take like if you have any sort of problems with, you know, how other people perceive you or how you perceive yourself or the happiness levels that you have in your life, all of that can be just washed away and solved completely through the insane power of a smile. It's huge. It's huge. And so that's why this one strategy of like thinking of 2 or 3 people every hour smiling that you know and that you love is a really great way. If you're starting in a rut and you don't know where to start and you're starting kind of a little bit negative, go through this process and just think of like 2 or 3 people and just imagine them smiling. Because I guarantee, like guys, like pause this video, like take a moment and literally just think of like 2 or 3 people that you know and that you care about, and you're passionate about, or it doesn't even have to be like someone you care about. Like, just think of like anyone that you know. Think about them smiling and imagine in their mind them smiling. Because as soon as you can do that, like you're going to be happier. So please. You know, I think I'm gonna cut this module here, and then we're gonna finish up smiling in the next one, because I really do want you guys to apply this, because this like fundamentally changed everything for me, and it's so huge. I can't, like, this book, Tools of Titans, is insane. Like, there is so much gold in there. It's crazy. I'll have the book review below. I mean, it changed. It's so cool. Like, oh my god. There are like thousands. It's insane. Oh my god, it's amazing. And it's just total game changer for increasing that positivity, increase that energy. Like, oh my god. So please take a minute. I'm gonna end this video. We're gonna go to the next module. Before we go to the next module, take a minute and just think of like 2 or 3 positive people in your life. And then ask yourself, you know, in total and complete reality, visualize them smiling. And you will literally change your entire state of being, your entire essence. Everything shifts the moment that you smile. Okay? You guys so much. Hope you got a ton of value from this. Apply this real quick. Make yourself smile in a genuine way. It'll take 1 freaking minute. And I will see you in the next module. And if it works for you, keep doing it over and over and over again, because smiling will change your life. It's insane. Alright, cool. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you next module. Thanks, bye.